is good? I have been anticipating. Hold on, let me get comfortable. Alright, so I have been anticipating and just waiting for Handmaid's Tale. And when I heard that we were getting 3 episodes, I was actually a little worried. And I realized I was right to be. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm going to review all 3 episodes in this one video or if I'm going to like split it up. We will see how it goes as I go along. If I notice it's getting to like an hour, I will probably separate the 2. Or the 3 or whatever. But hopefully we can just like wrap them all up in one. Because I feel like most people, they watched it, they probably binge watched it. So, alright. So, Handmaid's Tale decided to give us a movie. 3 hours, that's a movie. It's a movie, right? Yeah. Last season, if you recall, we ended off with June deciding to let Nicole, or was it Holly? Whichever one y'all want to go by. She decided to let Nicole or Holly go with Emily and go to Canada so that way she can decide, so that way she can pretty much try and rescue little Hannah Banana instead or whatever. That's what she said, I guess. So we pretty much get started off with right where we left off. She's literally watching the van that has Emily go off into the distance, and then we see Commander Lawrence's car drive up. Which, yo, I did not realize he is the dad from Get Out. I don't know why those two like never connected with me. But alright, this is kind of weird because I'm trying not to like get into like now how I feel about him, because from last season to episode 1 to episode 3, I feel a whole different way about Commander Lawrence. But at this moment, I'm feeling excited to see him because I trust him. I feel like he's an ally for these handmaids and these Marthas and these unspoken women, or women with no voice. And so I'm super psyched to see that he's the one to show up to see June, because I felt like if it was any Guardians, it would be a straight shoot to the head. Like, that's just what I thought would happen. But he shows up and he pretty much like tells her like that she's stupid. And then she says something like, I can't, something, and he's like, spunky. And then she pretty much asks to go get Hannah. So at this moment, I'm like, okay. Sometimes Gilead confuses me with the way they portrayed in the show, because sometimes I'm kind of like, alright y'all, so what is it? Like, is it easy to like walk around freely, or is it not? Like, I just feel like it wouldn't be the easiest route to get. Hannah's supposed to be in a whole nother district. So I'm just kind of confused at this moment, like, how plausible with everything that just happened, like these fires just happened. I know they haven't discovered like exactly what's happened probably in June's home, but I'm saying like everything kind of just went to shit and it's chaotic. It's a very chaotic vibe right now. So do y'all really expect me to believe that right now with all the stuff that just happened, he can just easily get to Hannah, who's supposed to be in another district? Okay. So we transitioned from that scene to I have my notes right here, and I also have like some pictures from the episode, and if I figure it out, I may like put them like over here as I look at them, because one thing I will give the show is that its framing is incredible. Oh my gosh, I have missed seeing the likings of a deep, dope cinematic movie with a TV show. Like, it is so nice. Like, context, I'm a theater kid, actor kid, so like I love to study like the acting, and I love to study the emotions, and I love to study like the way they set the scene, and whoever's behind this, good job. And I can tell it's the exact same person from the other seasons. No, I can tell it's another director. We're gonna get into that. Anywho, So, oh yeah, before June leaves, she's like, "Mom's got work." Da da da. Da. That's like one of her lines. Um. So we pretty much go to like straight to what's it call it, um, and wait, okay, wait. Maybe I get mixed up because I have my pictures in a different order. Let's just go through that. Okay, so I think the next thing I think that happened is pretty much like Commander Waterford like yelling to get out of June's room, which I think was awesome to put in June. I love it. Like the place you punish her, like put him in there too. And Nick's pretty much like guarding to make sure that like June gets far enough time. Um, and like Waterford's like yelling at her or whatever, and like Serena, look, y'all can dislike the character all you want. I kind of taken a liking to her a little bit more. One of my favorite YouTubers who reviews this, My Twisted Life in Poetry. I will probably talk about her a little bit because we're gonna get into something that she has been talking about that Nick actually said, and I wasn't on her side with this, so we're gonna get into that in a second. But Serena's acting is amazing. I have a struggle between who's better between um, Elizabeth Moss and Yvonne. And then Sam, I can never say her name, Puse. It's Puse from Orange New Black. Mora. She would be up there too if she had more scenes. Or Alexis Bledel. Oh my gosh, like this cast is so good. But going back, okay, so Serena, she pretty much goes to Commander, and Commander Waterford or whatever, and he's just like yelling. He's like, "This is enough! Like he just let me out and da da da." And Serena's like, "No, we want her to get as far away as possible. I've done what's best for my child." So obviously, I can tell at this point that they have not realized that June let take her Emily. I always want to say Alexis, but June. They don't know that June has decided to stay behind and let Emily take the kid. So they don't know that by now. So then she pretty much like leaves him, and then there's this dope framing. So Nick is like lighting a cigarette, and Serena is sitting by a window, and the way they have it is like Nick is here and he's like in the dark, and then like Serena's here and she's like in the light a little bit, and I'm really gonna figure out how to get probably have my husband edit it because he's a wedding videographer. But I really want to put the picture so you can see like, gosh, it's so beautiful. Because like later on, like when Waterford's talking to Serena, she's like sitting by this mirror or whatever. Like first she was like putting her thing on her finger because remember he got her finger cut off or whatever. Well, I guess she kind of technically did, but he let him do it, whatever. And as she's sitting there, like the light is like right on her face. And the light has been on her face pretty much the whole entire time. Like I don't think there's one time where like there's not light on her face. So I really think that they are trying to gear her up to be a character that like we all really side with. But I know My Twisted Life in Poetry is not going to side with her. but yeah. So now we see pretty much like Hannah, and we go to Hannah's house or whatever. Commander Lawrence just like leaves, parks outside, I guess. And fast forward, he never shows up after that at the house. So did he just like drop her off and like no, or did he drop her off and like call people and say yeah she's in here? I'm so confused on Commander Lawrence still, and I'm not sure if they're trying to do that to us or if they are just not writing him right. But moving along. This is the part of Handmaid's Tale that really makes it hard for me to watch. I have a 4-year-old daughter, Jaden. She's the cutest little thing in the world. She's annoying though, but she's cute. watching this scene as a mom, I knew exactly everything June's doing. Basically, she gets in to Martha, looks confused on why she's there. June just asks where she or whatever, and like June goes upstairs, and Hannah is like knocked out. And as June's about to go to the door, she sees the lights, so she knows the Guardians are there. And without her saying it, I knew exactly what she was thinking. I'm gonna get caught anyway. I'm not gonna put my daughter. They're seeing me, only to know, for me to know that I'm gonna be taken away as soon as I get a moment with her. And I think one of the hardest questions Handmaid's Tale puts on your mind is, as a mom, is what June doing correct? And I don't think anyone can really answer that question with 100% accuracy, even more so if you are a parent, and potentially even more so if you're a mom. You know, like, not taking away from them dads, but like, we do carry little mofos, you know? And I'm not the type to get attached like in the womb or anything. I didn't get attached to my child till like maybe like 4 or 5 months after she was born. No, I loved her after she was born, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't get like that, like, feeling that people were talking about. Like, that didn't happen until like way later. To like, like I said, probably maybe 3 or 4 months after she was born. Maybe she like first spoke or something. I don't remember, but it definitely wasn't even after she was born. But I still like loved her and knew to provide and take care of her. But I'm just saying, the feeling that people kept talking about, I just didn't feel it yet. But anyway, it's such a tough answer, because on one hand, Hannah is being taken care of, and what June is doing could potentially get Hannah hurt, or have Hannah see her mom get hurt in front of her. But at the same time, like, that's nobody's right or call to how hard she should fight. And I guess at the end of the day, it's just what can you live with. And for June's character, the whole thing is she can't live without doing everything to her last dying breath to make sure her kids are okay. And for her, okay means not in this society. Gilead is so weird in the way they treat, like, kids that are being birthed by handmaids, or kids that, like, they didn't even birth at all. They treat them in their minds like they're completely adopted. Like, I think in their minds that's the way they completely see it. Like, they are adopted kids, and that, like, in their minds, like, blood doesn't matter at all. Which, in some scenarios, it doesn't matter at all, but, like, in this scenario where there's, like, thousands of parents who are willing, able, and want their kids back, or don't want to, like, birth kids by your little nasty ass husband. It's weird, isn't it? It's just so weird. Okay, anyway. So, when she sees Hannah, only thing she does is she ties a ribbon around her wrist. A red ribbon around her wrist, and give her a kiss or whatever and pray. And I think that red, like, was supposed to, like, show her, like, resist, because obviously this season is all about resistance. This season is all about empowerment, blowing shit up. Like, this season is like the we ain't around season. You can tell the last, like, line that offered, like, says, like, that's her power line. She says, like, burn, mother, burn. So that's this season. All right, so she gets herself pretty easily. And then Commander Mackenzie is, like, standing there. And this is another example of the framing. I'm going to have to post it. So beautiful. Because, like, the Guardians here, June is, like, right here. Like, right in the middle of the framing. And on the stairs right behind is the Commander. And June's just like, what she's like? And then they get into, like, this weird banter or whatever. And I'm getting this mixed up because actually first what they do is Commander Mackenzie pretty much, or she's not a commander, the wife, she asks June to stop. And the one line she says is, You brought her into this world, but I'm her mother.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
That's what I'm thinking. Anytime these people like can't claim the kids are not theirs, I'm like, who said that? Like, this is weird to me still in my mind. Like, and it makes me feel like, like, it's not your dream. And they kind of, but yeah, so like they get in the banter, and then as she's walking out, they have a whole nother conversation. This also is weird to me. Like, I don't know, like, y'all, the conversation. So basically, what I'm saying is, after she gets arrested, the wife lady or whatever has the guardian put June down in the chair, and he has June put down in the chair or whatever, and she's sitting down as she begs her to stop trying to be there for her daughter or whatever. It's like, stop trying to get your daughter back. You're not gonna get your daughter back. That's pretty much she's saying. Which still, okay, again, it's effed up because any of them would go through hell and earth to get their kid back too, and would probably shit on anybody who didn't try as hard as June. I don't know. Okay, you know what? We're not gonna get into the workings of Gilead, because obviously Gilead is not real, but could be real. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because Margaret Atwood, she's on something. But I digress. This is definitely gonna be part B2. So yeah, so when she sits down, they have the conversation. Then she has the guardian take June, like, so she can leave, and that's when they have a whole nother conversation. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just kind of feel like they could have like just had the conversation in one. But anyway, but yeah, so they go through like this like little back and forth or whatever after June asks what she's like, and June tells her, I appreciate the home that you made for her. She's like, please stop. And this is where I am terrified for June, because she says, you know, all of this ends with you dying on the ground in front of her. I feel like that's foreshadowing. I feel like it's foreshadowing. And then she like looks at her, another line she says, she's like, you have her eyes. And then June says, I'm her mother. And I'm like, bitch, yes. Bitch, yes. Tell her. Like, remind these hoes, these kids ain't theirs. Damn. Like I said, adoption is beautiful. And yes, that is so accurate. Like, when you adopt a kid, that is your kid. But that's normally with the consent or with the absence of the actual parents. Oof. But anyway, so she goes home. And at first I'm like, where's home? Because I think we're all confused about, like, what's the state, like, what's going on, like, who knows what, like, what's about to happen, like, but Nikki Boy's there, so we show up, the Waterfords are pissed. Serena, in her mind, she's like, you let my daughter go with a murderer, because don't forget, Emily done ran through a couple motherfuckers, you know, Emily don't care. Emily's like, you know what, boss up, let's go. Emily would have worn that bum herself, probably. Like, if she didn't have her son and daughter, wife in Canada. But, but yeah, so, like, Serena and, like, June getting this weird, like, literally her head's like this, and she's, like, holding Serena, and she's like, I did what was best for her, and da-da-da. And I'm just like, this is a little awkward. I will say again, the framing here was so beautiful. When the scene starts off, like, Serena's just, like, holding, like, the ledger where, like, their picture frame is at, and the scene starts, like, right on her face, and I think that's such a unique angle to go off of. But yeah, so she pretty much gets, like, really pissed off at June. And Waterford also is, like, yelling and all this type of shit. And like, Waterford's like, where's the baby? Because we're all about to be on the wall. Waterford don't give a about the baby. I think he just wants the wife happy, the wife sedated, calm, cool, quiet. And I think he wants a boy to see himself or whatever. That's why he told June maybe you could try again for a boy. I was like, if you don't get your hand, ooh, something about about Woodford. Woodford is like, because like he actually is conventionally handsome. Like he's not a bad-looking guy to me, but he's like that guy who looks like he could be sleazeball. Like there's some guys that like, yeah, you definitely are sleazy. He looks like he could be. So when he plays into it, he plays into it. But this is where I was like, my twisted life was right, because Nick walks after June after like that scene ends, and he was like, "You're selfish. Like, what are you doing here?" And he said, "You know you're gonna fucking die here, right?" Wow. Another foreshadowing. And also, damn, Nick! He doesn't get it either. Like, he doesn't. And I mean, like, for him, I'm like, come on, you're technically, your kid is safe now. Like, I also wrote I wrote that, like, it feels like this is a story that we're watching rather than the present time scenes we are watching. And I said I wanted this is because Margaret Atwood has said in the past that this was actually like a memoir from the Handmaid, like from the character June. She said, I think she said in the past, like the book is technically like her talking about things as like pretty much like Anne of Green Gables, like that type of thing. Like I can't think of the word right now. But imagine for like in like 3000s, and this book is technically like from 2000s. Like, I think that's what she was trying to say. And for some reason, that's the vibe I keep getting. Like, it feels like they already know the story. I don't know. I'm going to sit on this one a little bit more, and maybe we'll come back to that one. So, next thing we see, like, drones. And I'm like, drones instead of dogs. Nice touch. To show, like, what, like, potentially, like, now it would look like. Like, I think that would be very accurate. But, okay. So, this is my biggest problem with this entire episode. Emily's running through the woods. She's running. She gets to a bridge. I think it's actually the same bridge where Janine was about to jump off that one time. And I'm going to guess that wherever Gilead is, it is like at the border of Canada, or maybe Canada just I don't know. But anyway, so I'm sitting here and I'm like, ooh, there's like a little intensities. I already know that the baby makes it because they show us in the previews that like Lucas has the baby in the first place. So we already know that. That's one thing they probably should have shown us, as well as they probably shouldn't have shown us Aunt Lydia in the previews too. Like if Ann Dowd was coming back was a mystery, that would have been a good little like but they didn't do that. I also guess I could have avoided it, but whatever. So anyway, so it is like freezing. Serena also just mentioned to June, like, it's so cold out there. It's so cold. You left our baby. I'm also not gonna lie. Did I see like Winfred's getting a little turned on when Serena and June were like so close together? Like he's just like, I'm like, okay, sleazy. See, sleazy. But yeah, so Emily's at the water, and with this baby, she decides to run through it, and then like a little like mini current like takes her off, and like her and maybe like immersed in the water, and then like 2 seconds later, they breathe, and they're at the other side, and then Emily like gives the baby CPR, and then the baby's alive. Okay, here's my problem. If the water was literally that freezing, and it looks very cold, I'm going to imagine the water has to be at least below temperature. I'm not too sure how this would all really played out. In fact, I feel like Emily probably should have been out for a few seconds before she... it's a TV show, so we're not going to nitpick. We're not. But it was just it was the most believable scene, and there was really no intensity for me in that one either, because like I said, we already know that Lucas gets the baby from the previews and everything, and also that would be the biggest piece of shit if all of this, not even the baby or Emily made it out. Like, that would just be, and they would probably, like, crucify Emily, like, because she's already done so much. They've already castrated her, and everything. Like, is castrated the technical word? I don't know, I forgot what it's called. But, you know, they've already, like, removed her lady parts, and stuff. And they've already sent her to colony. She's already came back. Commander died when he had sex with her. Like, it's already been too much that she's been through. Like, I think so. I feel like if they would have caught her, it would have been some hell to pay, especially for kidnapping a baby in their eyes. Technically, in my eyes, I saw the mom give consent to let her kid go off with someone else. That's what I saw. But I'm in Florida, not there. But even though it was the most unemotional scene, this was the most satisfying emotional moment, I think, in all 3 episodes. Because all of a sudden, Emily's like sitting there, like, she sees the lights and she's like, because she don't know who it is. And all of a sudden, these guys walk up and they cover it with some, like, foil. Looks like warm and toasty. Even though I feel like realistically, y'all probably should have, like, cover her and, like, had another little foil for the baby, because, but I digress. And they're like, ma'am, we are from the asylum from Canada, and would you be persecuted for being a woman or speaking or da 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 da? And she's like, and they're like, do you want to seek asylum in Canada? And she's like, yes. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. No, we'll give you a disclaimer. By this point, I was actually kind of high. Which will lead into what I'm going to finish up for this episode. Because we're going to split this into, these are going to be separate. I was pretty good so far at keeping my emotions separate from all 3 episodes. So, we got this. But I was just like, oh my gosh, like, it was such a feel-good moment. Which is so good at that ludicrous, unbelievable scene that they just gave us. And it just made you feel like, I like it when shows, like, I feel like The Purge did this very well. I like it when shows, even though they present you a horrific alternate reality that we could be in, like The Purge show us, like, what happened with The Purge will happen. And we gave everyone the freedom to, like, kill people. But then what they do, they also showed us, like, what would be the logistics behind it being set up and how corrupt it would be. They also showed us, like, how we would fight back. They also show, like, so it's like, I like it when they present an alternate reality that is tangled with real world. So, like, not a fantasy world, not like a Game of Thrones world, not like Westeros. I like it when they show us the problem, the background of it, the issues, some solutions, and stuff like that. So to have them show us, like, yes, the Handmaids would be the Handmaids, but let's realistically think it out. Okay, Canada will probably be a place for us. France, like, all these places would probably be, like, asylum and, like, and other places that we could go to. People forget that America may be, like, one of the, like, most popular countries in the world or whatever, and some of the most powerful, one of the most powerful, but we're not the only. And in relative aspect of the whole world, we're actually kind of small. So, if something like that would happen, I would imagine other countries having asylum and things like that. And I also think I think that it is really dope for them to do that. Because in the current climate we're in right now with immigration and abortion rights, all that type of stuff, I like the fact that it shows that we are not, because people aren't running to Mexico because they're afraid of what will happen to them in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? So I am in love with the aspect and the fact that they are showing how it would be if it was us, because that is not a reality that we face, and that's not something that we can relate to. It's not something that is tangible or that believable. So when you have a society like Handmaid's Tale, it's showing you that, like, America also could be that way. If that makes any sense. Like, I don't know. Like, I just really like it. And also, Canada, I hope that y'all are like, you know, just putting stuff together in place just in case, you know, we may need it. Anyway, but yeah, it's interesting to see, like I said, a border patrol for Americans. Isn't it interesting? Like, ew. Okay. So this next scene is a scene that I was talking about again, like about the framing with Serena when she's like in the light, and oh my gosh, like I said, like the mirror's like right here, and she's like looking, and like the light's like right on her face, and then Waterford's behind her in the mirror, but you can only see his like reflection and barely, you can't see his face at all. Like you could just see like from the tie and down, and basically he's like telling her like, hey, like this is the person who took over like Nicole's kidnapping case, and then he tells her that the cover story is Emily took the baby and that Serena and Alfred tried to stop. So that's the cover story. So yeah, so they have like a little like scene, and I can't tell like where they're going at this. And this is where I started to get very, 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 very lost with this episode. So I'm going to preface this with that it was shot beautifully, stunning, amazing. So Serena decides to get her. Serena is in her Cersei Lannister bag with a little bit of Khaleesi, and she goes, the cars on the bed, because that's where she had raped June. She said, the cars to these damn sins I've done. So she blows up the bed with some like solution or something, and like she's just staring at it. And let me tell you, the fire is beautiful. The smoke is beautiful. So Serena's like walking down the, or June's like walking down the stairs, and she's like, there's smoke. And that's like, the whole thing was so like overly dramatized. And so she goes in there, and Serena's just staring at the bed, and again, like I said, just so beautiful. And then Serena like puts her hand out, or June puts her hands out, and Serena grabs her hand and leads her out. And I guess that's, so I'm gonna guess that Serena's signifying that she decided to like burn the bed because that's the bed that like she was maybe part of her worst self. Down below in the comment section, if y'all want to help me out with the symbolism of that, y'all can. But the whole house pretty much burns down, and like June's like hella excited, like June's like, yes, and I'm just like, okay. So what part of it is really cheesy is, I don't know the song, but like this like song that just didn't feel like went to the beat goes off, and we see like the smoke come underneath, and then we see like, and we see like Nicole's like baby hanker thingy like burn up, and we see like Waterford's like study with the Scrabble burn up, and a lot of fire. Like I said, the cars on this bit, and Serena was just like, I'm Cersei, burn it. But then June was like, I'm Jamie, let's go. We stop. So next scene, before we get there, let me go back. See, I didn't take any notes on that part. Okay, anyway, basically, before June walked out the door, she got this little smile on her face, which is like taking me back to Us when she was in Us, and she was like, she's like, and then she says, "Burn, motherfucker, burn, burn, baby, burn," or whatever. So then after that hella cheesy scene, we see Emily in Canada, and this is again where it gets a little cheesy for me. She's walking through, and people are like, see me, I would have been like, I'm a little traumatized, you know? I don't know if I want all eyes on me. But she's escorted by, I guess, the patrol who rescued her, and it looks like they're walking to, like, a really nice hospital. Like, I'm talking, like, better than Grey's Anatomy-esque. Like, when they went on Grey's Anatomy and they visited some Mark or whatever, he was in a really, really nice hospital. Like, that type of tease. So, here's where the corniness came in with me. Because I guess they're trying to show you the parallel, right? As she walks down Alexis Bledel, as everyone's clapping, an Asian lady is like asking her questions, like trying to take up on her, and right behind her is like nothing but female doctorate and staff. And I guess the point though, like they're trying to make to you, show you like, whoa, like women are actually doctors here. But it just felt kind of cheesy and corny, I guess. Cause like it felt like they were trying to make that point. And in a TV show like this that is so strongly feminist and we all know and we all love it, you don't have to try so hard on everything. But anyway, we're almost done with this episode. So now we flash to another beautiful scene. June is sitting outside with like a blanket, and she's just... And I'm just like, wow, this framing is just so beautiful. And then Nick walks by her and he goes, "I'll take care of you." That's not what he said, but he said take care. And then all of a sudden I got that part of that song in my head. And she's like, "You too." And then Whitaker's like, "Nick!" Because he's all uptight. I mean, his house is just burned down. And he has to also still explain the absence of his child, and his wife just tried to get everyone... You know, realistically, the Waterford should have been all hung up by now. Realistically. But I digress. So, that's all between Nick and June. And then June gets in the van, and we know where she's going. Dun dun. Red Center. And then they say to her, the Mackenzies may forgive you, but God requires penance. And so this is another like long kind of dramatic scene to me in a way, because like they take her, like she's like escorted by like a headmistress, like looks like a you know, like a baby Lydia, Aunt Lydia in training, giving me all damn it, what's the teacher from Harry Potter, the one who like when like he wrote like the words would be etched out on his I can't remember, but that's when she gives me type of tease, but a little nicer because the other one she's a little crazy. But they like have her like walk down a hallway to 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 walk down a hallway, and there's like this long like table in there, and I guess you could tell they're about to like whip the out of her, which they do, because then the next scene we pretty much see is like closer to her feet, and it has like marks on it, and later on we see her hands as she's picking them, and they're like scabbed over, and before we get to the end of the show, we also see, so this is one of my criticisms when it comes to the show. The one main male actor we got. I need you to go back to class a little bit, okay? Lucas just kind of dropped the ball for me a lot as an actor. I didn't like the way he was portrayed last season, and I was like, maybe it's just the writing, but nah, it's a little bit of the acting. Or maybe it's because he's always sitting next to Pusey or Mora, and when you stand next to Mora, what you gonna do? If I stand next to Mora, but like stand next to who? Can I just watch her and then learn because she's so amazing? So they get like, I guess like maybe like an email or like a, no, I don't know. They get something that says that you guys got something because they pretty much have like a refugee office. So like if you somehow get like a letter or something that identifies that like it's supposed to be sent to you, they contact you and you go. Throughout that scene, we actually do also find out that Mora is working for the refugee center and pretty much like helping do an intake. So I think she's doing like the same thing that someone was trying to do when they talked to her and they're trying to give her help or whatever. I think she's doing that for people as well, like kind of like counseling, I think, which is perfect for her. And I really hope that we see a lot more of her this season than we've seen in the other seasons, because I really do feel like, I'm like, why do y'all have her in the bill if y'all not gonna like show us more? But she's so good, so good. So Lucas and Mora, they go to the place, whatever, and like it's like a lot of people in there like so excited, and like there's something about the acting, like Mora's just face is like she's like, oh, like the way she just shows like the hope and the excitement, and they're like, it's like she perfectly like puts this giddiness in her body where it's kind of like, oh, I'm excited, but I don't want to be too excited, but like, hey, I really want you to give me what I have for me, but I don't want you to show you that I'm like so excited, like I could jump over this right now, just grab myself, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I just want to know. Like you can tell, it's like the anticipation, like that, like, so they get their little envelope, and in it is a picture of Hannah, and they're like, oh my gosh. And then behind them is who? Emily with the baby. And this is where it got to affect me, because Lucas was like, he like switched completely, but Mora had a transition. She had a look on her face like, and so it was a good like she transitioned properly into like what somebody's regular emotions would be. Like people think that it's hard to like do dramatic scenes or do like comedy scenes. No, it's hard to do everyday acting scenes, because when you have to, like, when you're doing something that's not what you normally do, and now you have to be as natural as possible and normal as possible and react as much as a regular human being would react, it's not as easy. Like I think like Taye Diggs, has always talked about Taye Diggs. We think he's so good at just natural acting, and it's really hard, but it's also very subtle, and it's something that you don't catch that someone's really good at doing until you've seen a good amount of their scenes. So it's like a build up, and then when you see that they have that skill, it's like, damn, that's a good skill. So this is actually where we end up seeing, oh, of course, Emily loses a baby with Lucas, whatever. So this is where we actually see like June's feet, and the skin is up off her feet, and she's like pretty much like scrubbing the floor. And a handmaid like walks up to her and secretly like, Emily and the baby got together. And June, she kind of like just she's also good at that, doing that like where she's like smiling, but she's like, I call it her crazy face. My notes here. So then June gets told she has a new posting. And we find out it's Lawrence, and in all caps, because I was so excited, I wrote, Lawrence! And I wrote, oh, how the tables have turned. Y'all remember that shit from the Jonas Brothers? Like, oh, how the tables have turned. Boom. I'm so corny, but I love the Jonas Brothers. And I gotta watch a documentary, actually, and it's probably gonna make me cry. So at this moment, and I'm not going to get too much into his character, because we're gonna get into that next episode. Let me tell ya. He looks at her and says, "You're not gonna be in trouble, are you?" And she says, "No, sir." And I'm just like, yes, Dream Team. They about to be resisting all over this place. You know what I'm saying? They about to be freeing Handmaids left and right, you know what I'm saying? They about to be blowing shit up, you know what I'm saying? They about to blow Gilly. Woohoo! Next video, we will see if that excitement continued. I probably can guess. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode, and I love the song that they actually ended on, which also just like, and also don't forget to Joe Gazzo's high, which is why like the whole scene felt so dramatic to me. But I did rewatch it, and I was like, okay, it wasn't, no, it was too dramatic. But they ended it with "Good Day" by Nas, cause we're gonna have a good day. Da 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 da. I don't remember the rest of the words, and I can't play the song because I get copyrighted. But I love that song. I actually haven't thought about the song in forever. It's a good throwback, and now it's my playlist again. But also I noticed that Elizabeth Moss is a producer. Is that why it was so different? Does my homegirl need to stick with acting? For this, at least. I'm not saying she can't produce, but like, sometimes I think that people be thinking like, oh, because everyone else is doing acting and I've been on this for long. I need to have my investments. But sometimes investing, the best way to invest sometimes is to keep investing in your acting. So if some of these stylistic, directional ways we went were her choice, Elizabeth, boo boo, June, come here. Offer it. I know you hard-headed. But please, stick to what you know, at least on this show. Okay? Okay. But yeah, so after the first episode, I was left feeling very satisfied, very excited for the future of the season. And excited for the next two episodes. I did stop there initially. Of course, I finished all 3 episodes now. But the moment when I went to sleep, I was like, wow, I'm really impressed so far. So, we're going to get to some things next episode, okay? And we're going to run through it a little bit faster. Alright. If you want to, I don't know, I don't normally do all this because it's new to me. But if you want to, you can like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. I don't know. But at least come back and watch the other 2. You know what I'm saying? Okay.